Hello everybody and welcome back to KSP, POV, and the Janus Project. Today we are right here on the launch pad with a funny looking vehicle, but something that may be a little familiar if you've seen last Monday's KXP, and that is the Science Crawler version 1, but this is one we built ourselves. We didn't take from their vehicle file, decided to use jet plane engines instead of the rocket engine in the back. But more or less the same structure and capabilities, but also armed with a camera because this is POV, and of course we are going to be piloting this. Jebediah is in the cockpit. We're starting off right now just right on the track. We don't need that. Right on the tracking station, or the launch pad, right off the bat, because we're going to just spend as little time as possible getting the science we need to push forward, because we've got big plans for today's mission. Alright, so we've got quite a bit to grab right off the launch pad. Nice to see. Don't need atmospheric pressure scan or the temperature. Mystery goods, good. Magnetometer, all of that is great. As we see there, our magnetometer boom is sticking straight up, so we will be a little awkwardly balanced as we go along, but nonetheless we should be fine. We're gonna have to get out at every biome and take the data from the capsule, because we do a crew report. We don't want our crew reports overriding each other, and we're gonna try to bring this up here, and we're gonna take an EVA report, 2.4 science. So pretty easy, not too bad, nothing to be afraid of, except for the fact that from now on we're going to be doing that while the craft is moving. So Jebediah, hold on to your pants and let's get started. Okay, we're going to bring up the ship logs because that's going to tell us which biome we are in. Unfortunately, this is as far down as I can move my camera. I can't zoom in any further, and I don't think there's any seat controls in this one. Nope. Alright, nonetheless, let's get started. Got our jet engines on, powered up, and then we're gonna power them down so they don't push us going too fast, although we do need some more power to get down the ramp. There we go, okay. Kill that. Throw the brakes on a little bit. Okay, we're gonna have to do this fast. Crawler way. Keep. Oh, hey Jeb. Keep. Get out on that. Take the data. EVA report. Didn't need it. Get back on board. Get into our seat. Whew. Alright, fast maneuvering. Alright, so now once we get into, let's throw on our brakes a little bit. Once we get into the VAB grounds, do the same thing, VAB. Well, we did come to a stop. We'll take advantage of that. Take the data. EVA report, nice, board. Alright. Back on it. We're gonna head over to the tracking station next. Oh, don't hit that. Okay, good. Our side wheels came in handy. Tracking station. Huh. I never knew that there was a key to do that. That's pretty fun, actually. EVA report. Board. Okay, we do not want to go off the edge. Please don't go off the edge. Jebediah, what are you doing? Oh no, Jebediah, no! Well, here we are in the desert. Might as well do one here. Nope. Jebediah, how you doing? Alive? Safe and sound? Good to see. Well, unfortunately, that may be where our science trip ends. We'll probably put this out one more time on the launch pad, get some more of that science, but try not to fall off. I'll see you then. Or we'll just cut afterwards. But yeah, we learned the hard way in our testing that the KSC is a little higher than one may have thought. Anyways, see you soon. And there we go. Final destination reached. And all the science grabbed that we... Oh, hold on. Now all the science that we can have grabbed. Let's go ahead and grab Jebediah and bring him home. Alright, so that netted us a whopping 83 science, bringing us to 254. Jebediah getting a ribbon for researching 400 or more science, making Bob super jealous that he got that before him. But you know what? That's what happens when you have untested, experimental jet plane rovers, basically. And we can't risk our scientists there. Jebediah is crazy enough to do it, so we'll take him. Anyways, with that 254 science, we are going to head right into research and development and spend our hard-earned cash. Now, we've already gotten the very important propulsion systems that gives us the Terrier, as well as heavy rocketry, which gives us the Reliant and the Swivel. Now we have enough to adequately get into orbit. I'm pretty happy with that. So we have some more things that are important, and this will lead into what I plan on doing with the remainder of the episode and with our program in today's journey. So first and foremost, we are going to want flight control, because this gives us access to the Corvus command pod. Now this is the first real command pod we have access to, given the fact that we are playing with the unkerbal start, which means that our typical command pods are somewhere in this general vicinity. So let's go ahead and grab that for now. I want to work with a command pod soon. That doesn't give us that. Yeah, see here, the simple command module. But this has unresearched technical requirements, which I believe is this enhanced survivability. So let's go ahead and grab that. Now we do have access to the small re-entry pods, which gives us the onion model. I've never actually utilized any of the onions before, or any of these spherical command modules. I typically always go for the Mach 1 command, but maybe we will try to save some of our money or some of our science and unlock that. But ultimately, I want life support. Life support is going to bring us closer to Kerbal exploration as opposed to probes. This is all good too. This is science and stuff we can bring down to the surface of things. Autopilot for rovers. Miniaturization is going to be important because this has micro relay antennas and the Communitron DTS M1, and these are going to be important because that will give us proper communication satellite network, because these have a range of 2 million meters and these have a range of 50 million meters. So we're going to take that one right now. So that leaves us with 74, not enough to grab the Mach 1 command pod, unfortunately. I do enjoy utilizing that as soon as possible, but maybe we will grab the small re-entry module for the 22, since we can afford it, and that is, oh, we can afford that as well. Alright, yeah. Let us get the onion re-entry module. And that leaves us with enough to grab the general construction. That's important because it gives us access to better fuel tanks, better decouplers, a few storage containers, and some parts of the links, which will be good. Oh, and that gives us struts. Okay, that's actually a really good find. Docking port junior, soft shell liquid fuel tank, stack tricoupler. This is actually a really good grab. Oh, and we have enough to grab custom fuel tanks, which is some monopropellant. And mainly the monopropellant is what we're going to use that for. So let's grab that. Don't really need that. Fuel systems is going to be important because that gives us the external fuel duct, which will revolutionize our space travel. Landing gear, obviously, is going to be important if we want to land anywhere. So we are now in the 90 stage where everything is crucial. But we don't have enough science anywhere near us to grab that. I was thinking about possibly taking a flight out to the desert, out to the polar region and collecting some science there, because that's just a decent jaunt over as long as we have a plane that has enough fuel. But then I got to thinking. KSP was saying that it would be too risky of a maneuver to do a flyby of the Mun without a proper communications network, that losing control via remote tech is yeah, see, that's what I said. Thank you, Thunder. That remote tech would make it impossible, and then they scoffed and said, I'd like to see you try. So you know what? I would like to see us try as well. After much discussion with the board of the Janus Project, they have agreed to allow us to pursue this administration strategy right here, the MUN program, and that is because this was never meant to be a probes before Kerbals mentality. If we want to pursue and aggressively get these milestones, then that is our prerogative. We just have to accept the risks that come with it. So, that being said, because KSP decided to taunt us and say that they'd like to see us try, well, watch this. So for that, we will get plus 400% funds to gain the milestones for this. If we do any other contracts from this, we're going to get significantly less money for that, and increases the likelihood of receiving contracts, but that doesn't matter. What we need to do is plant a flag on the Mun, and what that means is that we have to plant Kerbal boots on the Mun, because probes can't plant those flags. So, you know, as much as it'd be nice to land a probe and start off simple, gather our science, get better things, we're going to just aggressively pursue it. So let's build a rocket that can do a flyby. We're not going to be able to land today. That is just too big of a challenge, but we will be doing a flyby, and with the successful deployment of the probe that was in the last episode, I think we're going to try to do that again. We're going to leave a probe in orbit as we pass by and get ourselves maybe some maps on there. We'll see what we can do. But anyways, I'm excited to show you what we've built. Alright, so here we are in the VAB. I'm going to go down the line of the craft as we built it, but this is the result of a lot of planning and testing, tweaking and retries, but I'm pretty happy with what we came out with. So let me show you. We've got this probe on top, probe core with some solar panels and a three-way symmetry, tons of battery, communitrons, DTS, M1s, and those have a 50 millimeter range of communication, so hopefully we should have enough to communicate with Kerbin, even though we don't have a good enough, we don't have any other satellites in orbit outside of that first one. Hopefully this can connect to mission control. But beyond that, we also have the R3B radar altimeter, which will scan that for ScanSat, and the MS-1 multispectral scanner, which will do the multispectral scan for that. And those are in the missions that we picked up right before we got started: low resolution altimetry and a multispectral ScanSat. So that's what this is. We're going to drop this off in a polar orbit as we do our flyby. We're going to program in the maneuver that it needs into remote tech, and then hopefully we'll be able to switch to it when it needs to do its maneuver, and we'll get this thing into an orbit and scanning, and we'll leave it up there, and hopefully these communitrons will act well enough to be the relay, our first relay on the MUN. Now moving down into the crewed section, we've got the Onion reentry module that we just recently unlocked, the 1-seater capsule that is essentially its own heat shield. However, we did put a heat shield here on the bottom because we have, as you see here, kind of clipped into it, we've got the experiment return unit, and that automatically collects the science from the craft and puts it into this singular part. So the idea is that we're going to collect the science from these. We're going to bring a pilot instead of a scientist, and so we're going to collect the science from here, and then discard this lower stage upon reentry. So only the heat shield, the experiment return unit, and the Onion reentry module will come back with us. So beyond that, we've got a bunch of batteries, a bunch of solar panels. Mentioned here, we've got all the experiments that we can do. We also have these life support hex cans on there. As you see here, we have a maximum of about 39 days worth of that. You know, come to think of it, I feel like we could do with more. So let's put on 3 here. 108 days, and we'll put on 3 of the waste cans, and that gives us quite a bit, actually more, but that's okay because those are empty, so it doesn't really add a lot of weight to it. The supplies are actually what adds the weight, but nonetheless, we now have a lot more margin of error to work with in getting our Kerbal home, because after all, we are using TAC life support. So moving down, we've got a couple Separatrons and 1 unit of a TAC self-destruct X1100 onto our very large Tundra tank with the VL90 Octopus liquid fuel engine. This is from the Tundra mod. I believe that's near future or something like that, but something great that we unlocked. That engine itself has thrust away, kilonewtons thrust of 1443 kilonewtons. So this in and of itself is going to be able to get us into orbit, hopefully push forward a little bit farther towards the MUN, and then these Separatrons will get it away from the top part of the craft, and the TAC explosives will make sure that it's no longer space trash. But this is the MUN flyby V1, and today we are hoping to take the milestone of a crewed flyby of the MUN, as well as the first probe in orbit of the MUN. So, yeah, let's get started. So here we are once again on the launch pad at the proving grounds. The engineers for some reason decided to build the rocket very high on the launch clamps, but nonetheless it should have no problem taking off today. We've got a great thrust to weight ratio. The clouds threaten some bad weather on the KSC, but we are in no fear because we'll be far above them before that happens. So let's go ahead and hop in the cockpit. Jebediah Kerman is the one in charge today. Pilot, 0-star pilot, will be getting his wings and his ribbons, as he is the first Kerbal. We don't need that light on. As he is the first Kerbal to fly by the MUN, see it with his own eyes, and even be close enough to lean down and scoop some of that dust. Alright, so we're going to put our cams up here and our Delta V stats up there. Let's get our SAS on, our warnings on. And we are using the KSA IVA mod. And that is giving us all of our screens. We can keep an eye on our... Ooh, thunder is great. You can keep an eye on our life support over here, so that's pretty good. Alright, I think we should take off before we get electrocuted. Alright, so throttle up, SAS on, and fire. Alright, holding pretty steady. Gonna slowly tilt ourselves so that way we're lined up eastward. And at a little over 200 meters per second, we're just going to tilt slightly over. We've got some SRBs on the side, so they're just going to burn until they burn out, which is going to lift us high enough that our other engine will be quite efficient. And then they burned out, so let's stage them. And they were equipped with some parachutes, so hopefully we'll be able to recover them and not have the loss of those parts. Only the loss of the money with the fuel. We are starting to flip over incredibly. Jebediah is not a pilot who can lock to prograde, so he's gonna have to fly by the seat of his pants. Okay. And once again, we are good. Whew. That was a risky maneuver, Jeb. Full 360 flip, but we are now holding more or less. I don't know what that was. Maybe I was just moving too quickly, or... Yeah, in all my test flights... See, the problem is I test flew with Valentina, because a lot of the time I wanted to see how I would get to orbit, and I needed the locked prograde that she had available, testing to get this thing to the MUN. But once we get into orbit, then Jebediah will have the access to locked prograde. But until then, we had to fly by the seat of our pants. So let's actually give ourselves a little bit more height. There's no problem with that. Alright, so now we are going to use MacJeb to circularize at the next apoapsis. Alright, our altitude is just about to pass the Kármán line. There we go. So let's go ahead and use remote tech to plot in our maneuver. There we go. So we're slowly tilting down towards our maneuver node. And if all goes according to plan, it will burn all that it needs to bring us into a nice, solid, stable orbit, well above the Kármán line. And with only 25 seconds to go to the apoapsis, we burn with a thrust to weight ratio of almost 4 and rising. Delta V of 1,300 necessary to circularize. So we should be doing pretty good. We'll have a little bit of fuel left to push us towards the MUN. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading that wrong. Yep. I'm definitely reading that wrong. What happened there? Okay, thank you, ground proximity. Okay, this is not going according to plan. Okay, we are high enough in our altitude that we're not in danger of falling just yet. Or I should say re-entering the atmosphere just yet. We are indeed falling. That's the goal. Okay, so our periapsis is rising. Tapping ever so slightly one way and the other. Trying to keep myself aligned with that prograde marker. No way of locking to it just yet. Not until we're in orbit. And our periapsis is in the positives. Our apoapsis is going up pretty high as well. I don't exactly love that, but we are almost in orbit. There we go. Now we are in orbit. Okay, well, we're gonna have to deal with that apoapsis for now, but let's get our SAS on. Haha, yes, Jebediah is now a 1-star pilot. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, well, we used up some of the fuel in here that I was hoping to not have to use, but nonetheless, we should still have enough for this mission. So let's go ahead and do our main deploy, and that extends the solar panels there. But we can actually go ahead and deploy our satellite, solar panels, and communication dishes as well. There's no harm in doing that right now. Alright, we're going to turn our ground proximity warning back on. And go set up a maneuver for the MUN, plot it in, and then go from there. Whew, almost didn't make it to orbit. Alright, so let's go ahead and set that as the target. I was almost at a spot that if I just kept burning, I would have intercepted possibly. If I had more fuel in my lower stage, then I could have done that. But nonetheless, here we are with a maneuver that's looking pretty good. So now we want to come in on a polar orbit for our let's just take this for now. Yeah, let's take this for now. It's a little higher than I want it to be, but we can always do mid-course correction later. No, let's see if we can fix it. I want to be able to, we're going to be using most of our fuel for this, so I want to get it right. Okay, we're just gonna go with that and see what that can give us. We are really playing it really risky right now with our fuel, given how much we've gotten through, but I feel like we're kind of on a collision course with destiny. Jebediah, I hope you live a better fate than the last season. We're going to go ahead and plot in that maneuver, and that is going to bring us into a polar flyby of the mud, much higher up than we'd like to be, because I want to snag the space, low space science. So we're going to say goodbye to Kerbin for now. Or, excuse me, we're going to get ready to say goodbye to Kerbin. Line up our engines with the maneuver. Whew. Can you tell that I'm nervous? I completely lost track of what I'm doing, but this is not going according to how the simulations have gone. We now have a bit less, not a lot, but a bit less fuel than we did in the simulations, and I think it has to do with the added life support. Whew. Okay, and with that, our burn is complete. Let's go ahead and check the map. Not great. Let's go ahead. Let's try to do a mid-course correction that's not too far away from the KSC, because we're going to want to continue our connection for this next part. So below 60 meters is low space. I'm going to bring it down to about 47 meters. That's going to put us in this high orbit here. I want to see if... I'm going to think I'm going to try to transfer some of the fuel from our crafts before separating. I think that might be wise. Let's go ahead and plot this maneuver in. Hop back into the cockpit. Now we can get ready to say goodbye to Kerbin. And just a quick 2-second burn is enough for us. Let's see, our closest approach is at 43 kilometers. That is below the 60 necessary. Good enough. I'd like to transfer fuel. Is there a way that I can do that through here? I don't think so. I'm going to... Where are we? Float that way. Okay. I'm going to take the executive decision to go into third person here just to transfer a little bit of our fuel from one tank to the other. Oh, except we can't. Never mind. Well, there is no way of transferring fuel. So, this mission's going well. Alright, so we don't have a lot of fuel in order to get back home with, and we have no way of taking any of the fuel from our probe stage. It has all this fuel, it doesn't even need half of that. Unfortunate. Alright, so let's turn our SAS back on, point ourselves retrograde. There we go. Okay, now comes phase 2 of our operations, and that is to separate our probe. Hopefully it still has communication. And that was mission control telling us that we can switch on over. Whew, okay, so once again in the probe control room. We've got only one camera, which is pointed forwards. We've got SAS control. We do not have access to prograde or retrograde, it seems like, but we do have remote tech control, remote tech signal, which is great. We're going to need that. So let's go ahead and get ourselves working here. Go into map mode. It's okay for us to do. We're going to plot a mid-course maneuver. It's going to be very close to us. That's going to bring us up to 177 kilometers above the surface. Alright, that's perfect. 5-second burn. So let's see. Do we have a thrust limiter here? Fortunately, we do not. So we're going to just let remote tech handle it, and hopefully it can handle such a tiny burn like that. We are fully extended. Our communications as and our solar panels are perfectly aligned, which is nice. But we don't have our ScanSat running at the moment. It'll take a lot of battery to use that. I want to get that on when it's in position, so we're going to have to try to pre-program it to turn on once we set up our orbital maneuver. But for now, let's go ahead and time warp our way to the maneuver and go from there. Thankfully, we still have communication. That was a quick enough burn. Let's go ahead and see. Transfer the MUN. All right, targeting. So our closest approach, nice, 176. That is what I like to see. Let's go ahead and oh, MacJeb's not on there. So let's get MacJeb up on here. We're gonna have it circularize at the next periapsis, and that should give us a maneuver out there. Let's go ahead and check it on the map. No, that is not correct. Okay, well, that's good. So yeah, MacJeb isn't always the best for autoplot sometimes, so we're just gonna go do it via the map mode. There, yeah, see, this has 2,800 meters delta V. We could have absolutely spared like half of that, if not more, and have been fine. Ugh. This mission. I really hope we can get Jebediah home. Okay, so let's plot in this maneuver. And that's going to happen in 1 day, 3 hours, and 45 minutes. Now, I also want our ScanSat to turn on, but I don't want to turn it on now. So I'm going to go down here to the delay and signal. I'm going to type in 1D3H45 and press enter. Oh, whoops, 45S. There we go. You know what, let's make that 46S. Oh, not S. M. There we go. 1 day, 3 hour, 46 minutes. So 2 minutes after this maneuver, we are going to come out here. Let's just do it in this view just so no problems happen, because I know it works here. So we are going to press the 3 button, and that is action group number 3. So hopefully, if all goes according to plan, this will... Oh, and then let's also hit it with retrograde. Okay, so we plotted this into remote tech, and so now hopefully this will do all of that automatically. It'll turn on the ScanSats, and that will start running, and then it's after a short period of time we should have a map of the MUN, which will be great. We do want to, however, put on an alarm clock here. Oh, and before we let's cancel out, get a 0-second delay in case we need to do anything right now. Alright, so we're going to add this new alarm in Kerbal alarm clock for 1 day, 3 hours, 42 minutes, which is roughly the time of the maneuver. There we go. So in 37 minutes, so a little bit further on before remote tech would warn us, it's going to let us know, hey, this is going to need a maneuver, so we're going to go ahead and switch back to the craft to circularize. But for now, let's go ahead and close that, and switch back over to our craft if we can. Yep, we are still close enough. Wow. We're still within 2,000 meters of the little probe, so that's fun. Don't know where it's at, but now it is time for us to get our Kerbal ready. We're going to want to do some science low in space here, so we're going to need to act quickly. Oh, there's our remote tech satellite. And we're going to be coming in at 50 kilometers above the surface. Alright, so nothing left to do except time warp our way closer to the Mun. And with that, we kill our time warp. We are now in the sphere of influence of the Mun. Oh, that's a much clearer camera. Nice. But that means we can do our first amount of science. So let's go ahead and collect the science high in space. Alright, 12 science from that, 10 from the crew report, 16, 24, 16, 8, 50. Ooh, nice 50 right for that. Alright, we are going to be coming home with quite a bit of science, but the job is not done. Let's go ahead and unbuckle ourselves from our seat. Jebediah, you trained to do this earlier today. Let's go ahead and go out on EVA. Okay, be still my heart as we let go of the ladder. Get ourselves our RCS pack. And get ready to do some science. Alright, let's do an EVA report first for 16. And then we are going to do... Oh no! Oh, the extra science... Oh, that was going to be some good science. Oh well. We didn't bring our science experiments, our EVA science experiments. There's the Mun. Shoot. Jebediah was going to pretend to be a scientist as he spun a nut in a circle. But I guess we will not... Excuse me? Excuse me? What was that maneuver? Thank you very much. Get back aboard, Jebediah. Stop screwing around. Whew. That was a little nerve-wracking. Oof. Alright. Get back into our seat. We're going to point ourselves retrograde once again. Pointed towards the Mun. We're going to time warp our way closer, and then hopefully our alarm clock won't go off before we're back inside the capsule. So let's go. Alright, we need to kill it at about 59 kilometers above the surface. That's when we can start doing everything. And we should be good to regain control of our probe from there. And then this will say just above the Mun. Alright, coming in 200 kilometers. Alright, let's slow down time warp a little bit. Waited on bated breath. 66. Alright, we're going to kill time warp entirely. We're nice. We're retrograde once again. 60. And there we go. Space just above Mun. Let's go ahead and collect all of the previous science. Let's do space low above the Mun. Nice. 18, 15, 24, 36, 24, 12, 75. Wonderful. All right, let's go ahead, unbuckle yet again, go on EVA. We're going to take the data, which is the crew report that we just had. We're going to do some EVA science from space just above the Mun. Technically, we're done here. We can just board, but Jebediah is reckless after all. He's going to take just a second to get a shot for posterity in the space low above the Mun of his craft. Oh, look at that spacewalk. First Kerbal spacewalk in space above the Mun. How's that for milestone, KXP? Alright, let's go ahead and get back in our craft. Because we have a date with Destiny on our probe core. Come on. Come on, Jeb. You got this. Okay, maybe you don't got this. Whew, there we go. I knew you got that. I never doubted you. Nobody could prove that I doubted you. Alright, let's go ahead and point ourselves retrograde. And we do have that maneuver. So let's go ahead and jump to the ship, restore the maneuver node, as it says. Okay, so we dilly-dallied past our maneuver. Oh wait, no we didn't. Okay, that's good enough. We still have remote tech signal. We can go ahead and get rid of our purple on clock. Thank you very much. You did us wonderfully. We still have remote tech signal, so we can actually plot in this maneuver without a problem. Oh, it's still plotted in. Perfect. Everything is plotted in. So, I have no doubt that we're going to be able to do our maneuver. It seems like we would have even had signal on the dark side, so that's good to see. There is our vessel. Extra cams don't really show us much, but maybe eventually they will. So there is nothing left to do except for time warp our way to the maneuver and then watch it execute. Shouldn't you be executing? Well, I'm just going to execute this manually since we have control. And with an apoapsis below the 250 limit, go ahead and SAS on. SAS on, point ourselves retrograde. Can we get rid of that maneuver? Yeah. Remove the node, thank you. Point ourselves retrograde. Does not want to do that. Oh, we don't have the ability of pointing retrograde. Okay. Well, we can do it this way. Actually, no, we want to point ourselves prograde. Bring up our periapsis a little bit. So as long as we're below 250 and above 70 kilometers, we should be good. Let's go ahead and do action group 3. And that should, I believe, make it so our scan sets are running. We're going to hop out of IVA mode and just right click on these just to prove whether or not they are. No, they are not. So that action group didn't work. But let's go ahead and start the scan. And we will start that scan. Alright, so it only works when the surface is in daylight. So that's going to take a little bit. These both are going to take a little bit, actually. Yeah, see, we have 0% of 75 and 0% of 75. So this will take a little bit to produce some results, but I'm highly confident that it will be able to handle the job. And we may even have enough Delta V to send this over to Kerbin, maybe get some results from that as well. But let's go ahead and hop back to our other craft, which is currently on an escape trajectory out of the MUN. Oh, and it looks like we are actually on an escape trajectory out of Kerbin if we're not careful. Shoot. Okay, so if we do that, we only have 278 meters per second in Delta V to work with. So we're gonna have to plot this accordingly because this is gonna be a close one. Photo finish, everybody. Alright. Alright. If we do this maneuver here, burns off all of our fuel and drops our periapsis down to 43 kilometers, but it also rounds out our orbit, so we are no longer going to be on an escape trajectory. And with periapsis within the atmosphere, that means it may take several passes, but we will come back down. And considering that I've made it on one single pass at a 42 kilometer periapsis from min-miss orbit, I believe it'll just take us the one. So, and we may even land on the light side, so I'm pretty happy with this maneuver. Let's go ahead and plot that in to remote tech. Hop back into cockpit. What is that? Well, that's fun. let us go ahead and time warp our way to the maneuver. So not that there's anything we can do about it, but as we leave the sphere of influence of the Mun, let's take a quick look at our life supplies. Alright. Looking pretty good. We did have, what was it, 100 days worth of supplies, somewhere around there? It's anywhere between 60 to 100 days, so as long as we don't escape curve, as long as we make this last minute, this is basically our suicide burn. As long as we make this maneuver, we'll be coming home, and it won't matter how much life supplies are left over. Alright, let's go ahead and time warp our way there. Leaving the Mun. Leaving our probe satellite friend behind. Okay. And time warp kills. So that means 3 minutes to our maneuver. Let's go ahead and time warp yet again. And there we go. Burn, burn, burn. What's our periapsis gonna be? We are no longer on an escape trajectory. That's good. Periapsis. Come on. Come on, below the atmosphere, below the atmosphere, below the atmosphere. Yes. 44 kilometers. Beautiful. Okay, Jebediah Kerman will be coming back home today. Alright, get SAS back on. Point ourselves retrograde. We're going to also remove the maneuver. And nothing left to do but time warp forward. We do need to make sure that we don't overshoot our target, though. Okay, we're going to slow it down a little bit there. And once we hit 1,000,000 meters, we're going to slow it down yet again. Alright, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. Alright, 250 kilometers of the surface. That will do nicely. So, let's, can we point any of the other directions? No, we can't. Nice. Alright, so let's go ahead and collect all the science, make sure we get everything that we came and worked hard for. Now, it is going to be scary. We are going to be letting go of our life support, and all that will remain is what is on our craft. But I'm pretty confident in our return trajectory. So, nothing else left to do. Let's go ahead and stage off that lower section. Stage off that lower section. Oh, okay. Alright, alright. Let's pause that. Whew. That's fun. Well, why aren't you turning retrograde? Oh no, do we not have a reaction wheel in this? Well that is unfortunate. However, this onion module is meant to be, the entire thing is a heat shield, so I think no matter what direction we come in at, I think we'll be okay. Hopefully. I mean, there's nothing else to do but learn the hard way, so let's go ahead and time warp until we hit the surface of the atmosphere. There we go. Do we have a heat gauge here. It does not look like it, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Maybe, alright, so we're starting to rotate towards retrograde, which is good. We do have a heat shield there, so you can see our apoapsis is coming down significantly fast. Oh, some thunderstorms there. And the heating effect is in full effect. Oof, and we're not even time warped. Oh, we can see our lower stage coming back in through the atmosphere as well. The re-entry effects mod that I added, I'm not sure which one. Maybe I'll put on the window right here if editing me feels like looking it up, but that one has been quite nice. I've really enjoyed how much it adds to the ambiance of this game and the realism, and the fact that we can even see that on a whole canvas VDS is pretty great. Alright, so our altitude is dropping significantly. We are now below our periapsis, and our apoapsis is about to be under the Kármán line. We are coming home nicely. Oh, there you go. Look at that. Oh, and with that, heat, ground proximity. Okay, that's good. Not a heat warning. I'm not concerned. Alright, ground proximity warning though means that we are going to be hitting the surface, so hopefully once this heating effect gets rid of, or once we get rid of this heating effect, we'll be able to stage our parachutes. Alright, coming down retrograde. Looks like color is coming back to us. We are 32 kilometers above the surface, which is nice. We have yet to see the safe to deploy sign, and as we see here, our staging says the same, so let's go ahead and get rid of that. We'll keep an eye on this, and we'll deploy our parachutes respectively. So we're going to time warp our way. We are going to come in on the dark side, unfortunately. We'll time warp our way down a little bit lower. Our parachutes are now safe to deploy, but maybe we'll stage them at about 10 kilometers above the surface there, because I know that no parachute, or nothing's higher than that. So let's go ahead and arm our chute. There they go. And just to make sure everything's going according to plan, we'll just slap our stage button. But our relative velocity, vertical velocity, is going pretty fast, so our parachutes have not opened yet. We can do a vessel view, see that there they are. We don't need to have SAS on anymore. Oh, I think this may be it, everybody. We are coming back home. Starting to slow down a bit. 4.5 kilometers above the surface. Three kilometers. Heart's racing a little bit. We have the ability to parachute, but then we'll lose all the signs, and I don't particularly want that. Still going fairly fast. Our chute has not opened. What are we above? Flying over the water, so that's nice. Alright. Parachute has deployed 700 meters above the surface. We are now traveling at a safe velocity. Oh, everybody, I think we're going to make it. I think we're going to make it after all. Gonna time warp our way down. 500 meters. 400. 300. 250. 200. 150. 100. Kill our time warp as we reach 58. I'm so excited, everybody. Let's go ahead and turn on our deck lights. Oh, we can see the water approaching. And successful splashdown, Jebediah Kerman. You rascal, you. All we had was oxygen, everything else was depleted, so if we did not make it in our first pass, there was a good chance we wouldn't have made it. So, go ahead and call yourself home, and we'll see ya at the KSC. And with that very ominous music, it looks like we didn't get any of the science from that flyby. All we gained was the recovery of a vessel. I'm quite perturbed about that because we did have a collections ability. Oh no. It got jettisoned when I went through all those stages. I jettisoned our collection capsule. No. I'll search the tracking station, search the world, see if maybe it came up, landed safely. But for now, Jebediah Kerman, enjoy your 1-star pilot status because that was legendary. That was a milestone that we earned successfully. You know, the fact that we lost the science is not your fault. It's not our fault. It's no one's fault except for the fact that the Onion reentry module has a staging aspect to it, and I thought the stages was collected underneath it. But regardless, we got some good reputation from that, and we are getting ready to pursue more MUN missions in the next episode. But Jeb's in the Final Frontier mission summary got completed for a significant contract, for 5 or more contracts, EVA in 0 atmosphere around the MUN, any speed greater than 100 meters per second, and orbiting around Kerbin, since that was his first time. Let's go ahead and clear up the debris on the launch pad. We got quite a bit of funds from that because we completed quite a few contracts. I'm pretty excited about that. We didn't get a lot of science, but we did get enough to unlock one thing, which we will be looking at next time. But I will be doing that in the next episode. I'm not sure where we're going to go from here. We are going to, again, pursue the MUN program, which is a crewed vessel landing on the MUN. We've yet to see what the KSP people will do. The lunar lander program with the probes is actually a little bit more lucrative because you gain a lot more science in the completion of it, and you don't risk Kerbals in the process. However, not sure what they will do and what they will pursue, but I'm excited to see that over the weekend. Well, everyone, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward for more KSP POV. If you did think about subscribing, drop me a like, let me know your thoughts, and I will see y'all in the next one. Take care.